Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching Qnews. Let's take a look at the top stories making headlines this hour. The Israeli occupation army says it will continue targeting high-rise buildings in Gaza City, claiming they pose a direct threat in its forces. Israeli military sources said the 36th Division has wrapped up operations in Qnews and is now preparing to launch new missions in Gaza City. Medical sources say 16 Palestinians have been killed in Israeli attacks since dawn. Most of the casualties were in Gaza City, while 3 others, including a child and an infant, died in separate attacks across the Strip. Israeli media outlets have reported more than 200,000 Palestinians have fled Gaza City to the south. The exodus comes as Israel expands its offensive across several areas, especially Gaza City, under the pretext of pursuing Hamas fighters. The United Nations said Gaza City has suffered widespread destruction from Israel's assault. The United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs has warned of a worsening humanitarian catastrophe with mass displacement of civilians and collapsing basic services. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has warned Qatar to expel Hamas officials or face Israeli action. Netanyahu accused Doha of financing and sheltering Hamas, calling its leaders terrorists. Qatar sharply rejected the remarks, condemning them as reckless threats and a violation of state sovereignty. The United Nations Security Council is to hold an emergency meeting today on Israel's attack on Qatar. The session was delayed at Doha's request to allow the Qatari Prime Minister to attend and comes at the request of Algeria and Pakistan. The European Commission says it will propose sanctions extremist Israeli ministers and suspending parts of its association agreement with Israel. In her State of the Union speech, President Ursula von der Leyen said the move will target trade relations while keeping support for civil society and Yad Vashem. She added the EU will set up a Palestinian donor group for Gaza reconstruction and launch a program to boost Ukraine's military edge.
We must overcome this. We cannot afford.
Poland says it has shot down Russian drones near the Ukrainian border, marking NATO's first known military action in the war. President Volodymyr Zelensky called the incursion deliberate, while Moscow claimed its drones only targeted sites in western Ukraine. Warsaw reported 19 objects entered its airspace during a larger Russian attack on Ukraine, with those posing threats destroyed by Polish forces backed by NATO aircraft. The European Union is preparing fresh sanctions against Russia while boosting military financial support for Ukraine. In her State of the Union address, Commission President Ursula von der Leyen said the bloc is working on a 19 sanctions package to phase out Russian fossil fuels and curb its shadow fleet. She also added that the EU has given nearly 170 billion euros to Kyiv and plans a repatriations loan using frozen Russian assets. The EU will also launch a drone alliance with Ukraine and an Eastern Flank Watch system to bolster defense. Right-wing activist and Trump ally Charlie Crick has been shot dead at an event in Utah. Police said the 31-year-old was struck in the neck while speaking at Utah Valley University in Orem. Video clips show Crick collapsing as the crowd fled. Authorities say no suspect is in custody, contradicting earlier reports. The killing follows a string of political attacks in the United States, including 2 assassination attempts on President Trump last year. This concludes our top stories for this hour. Thank you for watching and stay tuned for more updates on Q News.